Welcome. In this video I'm going to show you how you can obtain the common language effect size for independent samples using Microsoft Excel. This is also known as the Vargha-Delaney A, or the probability of superiority. In a separate video I show you how you can actually do this simply by using my own function that I made by using my add-in. That simply gives you the results straight away. But if you don't want to use my function, we'll have to do it the hard way. I have as some example data in column A two categories, male and female were the only ones selected, and an overall grade that the students gave actually to a course. Then the first thing I'm doing is actually counting how many there are in each of the two categories, and of course sum those up to get the grand total. Now notice that I'm only counting if indeed we have scores, because otherwise, for example, this we don't have a score there, so it's only when we have for both something that it's actually counting. That's why I'm using here that it should be greater than 0, because if there's no grade there, it's not going to work. So and it's then actually counting the other one, so it's counting how many we have in here if this one is above 0. Then we determine for each of them, for each score, how many scores in the other category are actually smaller. And if they're equal, we count half. So that's why if you look at this long big formula, there's a plus half times to count the ones that are actually double. After we have all of that, we simply average all of these results, and we have ourselves our common language effect size measure. If you want to ignore the ties, then you simply actually remove that half bit. So that's the straightforward way of calculating the common language effect size. If you want to use a normal approximation, that's also an option. Then we start the same way. We calculate the average, the sample sizes, but now we also calculate the average for each of the two groups. Then we are actually going to determine the squared difference with the mean for each of the categories. I'm doing that over here. So for each of them, I'm taking the score and then subtract the average of whichever of the two it was, and then square that result. Once we have all of those, we can simply sum the ones for each category using SUMIF, and then we can determine the variance by dividing it by the sample size minus 1. Then we can get the Z value, which is simply the score, the two averages, the difference between them, these two, and divided by the square root of the, so that's why we have square root there, of the sum of these two. And then we can use the normal distribution cumulative function. So that's why this is set to true. And then we actually get ourselves our approximation for the common language effect size measure. In some cases they use a slight different formula, which will also actually give a slightly different result. So this version is from McGraw and Wong, but if you want to have a different one, which is actually from Wolf and Hogg, they calculate it slightly different. I thought I actually added it in here, but it's not there. It's not too complicated. What we actually do is we take the square root of the variance that we had earlier. So I'm going to add another set of parentheses actually. And then we're going to take that, oh sorry, we don't even need that. We can simply take this sum of squares. We're going to add the other sum of squares, and then we're simply going to divide that by the total sample size, which was in this case the 41. Their formula for the, oh yeah, I think I missed a parentheses. It's the square root of this one plus that one. This, need to do it like this. It's the square root of the whole thing. Then we actually need to multiply this with the square root of 2. Root of 2 times this one, and we then take the same approach. So now our z value will actually be the absolute value of the difference of the two means. So this one minus that one, and then divided by that one we just calculated. Then again, similar, we take the normal distribution, so norm dot s dist, and we take that set value and we want it set to true, and then we get ourselves a slightly different result. Then there's also another method to calculate this using the Vargha-Delaney A. It starts off the same way with the counts. We only select the scores for which we know the category, so that's what's being done over here. We're only selecting if we actually know which category it's in. Let me also show A. We're going to rank those scores, so here I'm going to use the rank average function, and we determine the sum of those ranks by using the SUMIF for each category. Finally, we can then calculate the Vargha-Delaney A by using this formula, which is actually the U statistic divided by n1 times n2. But in this case, what I'm doing is 1 over n of one of the two categories, and then multiply that with the result of the following, which is the sum of the ranks divided by its corresponding number of samples, and then you subtract the n1 again, plus 1 divided by 2. And then you get that 0.579 again. As mentioned earlier, it's actually also going to be the same as the Mann-whitney U statistic divided by n1 times n2. But I think that's enough. I hope this video was helpful, and thank you for watching.